All right, for our last segment from this lesson on Newton's first law of motion, we want to talk about what happens in a moving frame of reference. So far, we've been assuming that you're not moving. So I am not moving in this room, and then I'm taking this thing and I am dropping it. So that's my observation. The question is, what would it look like if I was in a moving vehicle that did it? Now we have to keep in mind the difference between moving with a constant velocity and then moving with a non-constant velocity. And what's another name for that? That's a acceleration. So when you are accelerating, then you have a non-constant velocity. And so what we want to do is compare the motion of an object in a frame of reference that's moving at a constant speed with one that is accelerating. And so we've got this situation here where you have a person that is going to flip a coin up into the air. Now, case number one is they're on an airplane and the airplane's not moving. And they take the coin and they flip it and it goes straight up and then it comes straight back down. Okay, now let's pretend that he is in an airplane, and let's pretend that the airplane has a velocity of 100 meters per second. I'm just making up that number. But let's say that the airplane has a speed of 100 meters per second and is constant. It's traveling in a constant speed in a straight line, and then he's going to flip it up into the air. All right, so the instant that he flips it, what speed is the coin going at? 100 meters per second. And then, as it's going up into the air, there's no forces acting on it other than gravity, which is down. So notice that as it begins its journey upwards, there's no forces acting on it sideways. So what did we say? If there is no force acting on an object, according to Newton's first law, it will continue to go at a constant speed forever and ever. So it's going to continue to have this speed of 100 meters per second sideways forever and ever as it is traveling upwards. So if it has the same speed, then in a certain period of time, it's not going to move in this direction or this direction relative to you. It's going to look as though it's going to go straight up and then come straight back down. Now, it's a different story for somebody who is watching this on the ground. So if somebody was watching this, if you flipped it up into the air, then what it would look like to somebody on the ground is that it would go up and then it would come back down like that, because they would see it traveling in this direction at 100 meters per second. But according to you, you're going to see it go straight up and then straight back down. Now, what about though, now this is going to be in picture number 2, we're going to be, the plane is going to be taking off. So the plane is going down the runway. Don't do this, by the way, you'll get in trouble. But let's say that the airplane is going sideways down the runway and is accelerating. It's going faster and faster. All right, now what you're going to do is you're going to flip the coin. So let's say that the speed of the airplane, the instant that you flip it, is, I don't know, let's say it's 10 miles or meters per second. So let's say that that's the velocity of the airplane the instant that you flip the coin. So as soon as it leaves your thumb, that coin forever and ever has a speed of 10 meters per second, according to Newton's first law of motion. But what about the airplane? So 1 second later, the airplane is going faster. So now let's say that the airplane is now going at 20 meters per second. So in 1 second, it has now traveled further in this direction than what the coin did. The coin is only going at 10 meters per second, but the airplane's going at 20. So the airplane outdistances the coin, so it makes it look like the coin is going backwards. It's not. The coin is really going forwards. It's just that the plane is going forwards faster than what the coin can. And so it looks like that coin is going back behind your shoulder. Okay? So it really is going back there. But it makes it seem like there's some unknown force acting on the coin that's pulling it back there, when it's not. It's just that it can't keep up with the speed of the airplane. Okay, now let's try what happens when the airplane comes in for a landing. Okay, this time, let's say that the airplane is coming in at 100 meters per second when it touches down, and then the instant that it touches down, you flip the coin, okay, and the airplane is slowing down. So it is de-accelerating, or it is accelerating in the opposite direction. It has a negative acceleration. So what's that going to look like? Okay, so the instant that you flip the coin is traveling at 100 meters per second. And the airplane is traveling at 100 meters per second. But let's say 1 second later, the airplane has maybe now slowed down to 90 meters per second because the airplane is de-accelerating. It's slowing down. What about the coin? Well, the coin is still traveling at 100 meters per second, according to Newton's first law, because there's no forces acting on the coin once you flip it. Now, there's gravity that's making it go up and down, okay, but there's no sideways force acting on it anymore once you flip it. So now the coin is still going at 100 meters per second, but the airplane is going slower. So now the coin is the one that can outdistance the airplane. And so look at that third picture, and now you see the coin is flying in front of the passenger, as though there's some unexplained force acting on that coin. It's not. It's just that it's in a different frame of reference. So the motion of an object is going to depend on the frame of reference that it's in. As long as the frame of reference is traveling at a constant speed, everything looks normal. And you can't even tell that you're moving. It's only when you're accelerating that things start to look really weird. Okay, so that takes care of this lesson on Newton's first law of motion. And so if you'll stay tuned, in my next segment, we'll now tackle Newton's second and third laws of motion.